Welcome to today's webinar on how to teach English online as a freelancer. In today's webinar, we're just going to go over some of the options that you have to be able to do this, and we will define, for example, what freelance online teaching is exactly, how it differs from contract online teaching, i.e. working for an online school, what a niche is, this is very important to freelancing, and how to define it, and also what you're going to need to get started after that. So we're going to try and give everybody as much information as possible. And and at the end, we will discuss a little bit more. We have a little Q&A session with James and myself. So this webinar we've put together specifically for experienced teachers who are looking to start their own online teaching business. Maybe you've taught in a school, high school, something like that, or you've been an ESL teacher for many, many years. Contract teachers who are looking for more students, so people who work currently for online schools or are trying to work for online schools, and you need to get more students or more hours or something. You want to have it on as a side gig. Professionals who want to share their knowledge of the industry, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But perhaps you're in a completely different industry right now, but you want to go online and teach some classes, but for yourself. And of course, people who want to teach English online but don't have a degree, and we can discuss that a little bit later as well. Because a lot of online schools require degrees. So if you stick around until the end, we'll have a little Q&A session with James and myself, and we'll also have a few special offers to help you out and to help you get started teaching online as a freelancer. But first of all, let's do some introductions. My name is Jody van der Westhuizen. Originally, I'm from South Africa, but I live in Spain now, where I've been an ESL teacher for the last 14 years. I also did my TEFL course online. And that was 15 years ago, and teaching ever since. I started eTEFL Online about 3 years ago, and focus now on teacher training and helping teachers who already have their certifications get jobs online and move into freelancing and whatever suits them more personally. So been a lot of specializing in training of new teachers specifically. So this partnership now with James coming on today, I hope to expand that as well and try and incorporate as many teachers, both new and experienced teachers, into the fold. And I've helped over 500 teachers get online work, either as freelancers or working for online schools, get their TEFL certifications, and start a new career online working from home. With me today is James. James, welcome very much. I know we've already done the sound check, but James, if you'd like to introduce yourself to the people and let them know exactly what it is that where you're coming from, at least.
Here are interested in having their online teaching getting started, and I hope I can really contribute to your future career, future business as well. So again, my name is James. I'm originally from China. Right now, I'm living in the U.S. It's been over 12 years since I came to the U.S. and I have very interesting background. I was have been in academia for many years. I got my master's, my PhD, and also did a postdoc. After my postdoctoral training, I was a consultant for 2 years in management consulting, helping big companies with their marketing sales strategies. And long story short, I started helping my ESL teachers in 2018. That's the reason I kind of get into this industry, and found it very interesting, and wanted to help more ESL teachers. That's why I started my own business last year, January. So it's been a year and a half right now, helping ESL teachers. So I started business last January, really looking at how to help ESL teachers start their business. So that's really where my expertise, helping teachers define their niche, develop marketing and sales skills so they can get students online and also charge a higher rate. I have some more information to share after Jody's slides. If you have questions, I will be around. I'll stay around for the Q&A as well.
All right, thanks, James. That's interesting. I didn't know that about you, that you started helping your teachers originally with their business.
Yes, yes, that's very interesting. Just I have been having ESL teachers, like English teachers for myself. Start from the day one I got here in the US. My English was really bad at the beginning. My accent was very strong, and nobody actually can understand me at that point. But so that's why I've been with working with ESL teachers for a very long time. And in 2018, I think that's the time a lot of companies coming out, and some of my teachers, no, they got really bad results. They try to quit from teaching online, and I try to help them, of course, for free, and they were able to get a lot of results immediately. And some of the teachers encouraged me. Actually, they were saying, "Hey James, what you told us really worked. Why don't you just help other teachers out there? All these teachers are suffering because of the industry, because of the competition." And that's really the motivation, or the reason I started this business.
Excellent. That's great to hear. So you said, as you can see, both James and I, we come from business backgrounds. So our focus on this particular webinar and with this particular line of teaching with freelancing is to help you get the business side of things up and running. And that's where a lot of teachers have the issues with. The teaching part doesn't seem to be the issue. The issue comes in is how do you get these students? How do you, market, position yourself? How do you market yourself? These kind of things. So that's what we'll be covering today. All right. Thank you, James. So let's move on to the next one. So before we begin, though, this teaching English online it's not a one size fits all profession. It's not a get rich quick. It's not for everybody. All right. Teaching is a vocation. It's a calling. And we want to help you with those and help the teachers that want to do this with the business side of things, like I said. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through all the steps. We can provide you with all the tools. We can provide you the knowledge and the support. But as with any other profession, you have to work at it. Okay. So in the end, we're going to be there to support you building your business. So I hope that everybody understands that before we get into it. All right. So just to give you some brief background on online teaching, there are three main types of online teaching. So for one, you can work for an online school, what we at eTEFL Online, we refer to all the time as contract teaching. So you get a contract with an online school. They pay you an agreed upon hourly wage. You give them your availability and they fill your time slots with students. The other option is working on freelance platforms as a freelancer, but you are using the systems and the processes and the websites of third-party websites that were going to connect you directly with the student. And then, of course, the third option, where it is working independently, truly working for yourself, where you find your own students, you set yourself up, and you take all the payments and the processing of the payments and everything like that. So there's a bit of a more business side to that as well. And that's what James and I will be discussing today. So we're going to focus on those last two, the working on the freelance platforms and working independently. Okay. So first of all, let's just define what freelance teaching is. So freelance teachers work for themselves and not for an online school. All right. In this case, you have to find, as a freelancer, you have to find your own students. You teach your own materials or subjects, and you set your own hours and rates. So with an online school, for example, you're going to have to give them your availability, but it is a very, there's not a lot of movement in there where you can change things and adapt. But with freelancing, you can definitely have a lot more freedom to choose how much you get paid per hour, exactly who you teach, exactly what you teach. And that's what we want to focus on a bit more today. So just with a little bit of background again, online school versus freelance teacher. Nobody's here today to bash online schools. There is a place in the market for both of these, for the online schools, and there are clearly some teachers that are better suited or prefer contract positions with online schools. And also that you've got to take into account that freelance teaching requires a little bit of entrepreneurship. You have to be a go-getter. You have to be able to develop yourself and be independent in that way. All right. So you could do both. You could work for an online school and have an independent business on the side, or you can focus on one or the other. All right. We're just trying to present you with all the different options available. So first of all, what comes up in all of these, whether you're going to work on the freelance platforms, like I said, or whether you're going to go completely independent, is focusing on a niche. So we first have to define for a lot of people what a niche is. It's a marketing term, all right? So when teaching English online as a freelancer, whether, on the website or independently, it's important to focus on a niche market, all right? This is a specific group of students, in this case, because you're a teacher, that you can help achieve their goals by using your skills and knowledge. So these are the people, they are the ones who are interested in what you are selling. All right. So it's a specific group of people that will respond to what you are offering. Not everybody. We're not going to throw a giant net over the entire internet to find anyone who wants to learn English. We're going to focus on a specific group of people. So this will help set you apart. It's going to provide more value to your services, and it's going to allow you to charge more per hour as a result. All right. I have a little bit of an analogy here just to help clarify it even more. Think of yourself as going fishing. I'm not an avid fisherman of any renown. Okay, I'm just using this as an example. But you would think if you want to catch fish, you would have to go to the biggest place where all the fish are. But sometimes it's better if you focus on a smaller area with fewer fish that are more likely to bite. And that is the concept with freelancing and finding a niche. It might sound counterintuitive to actually go and look for your students where there are fewer of them, but it actually makes a lot more sense, and we'll explain that as we go along. For example, this webinar is a very good example. The people that are on this webinar today are James and I, niche market. We didn't advertise this webinar to everyone who speaks English or everyone who's ever thought about working online. It's specific to teachers who want to move online. All right, so we're focusing on the people that are really going to have the most, that are really going to benefit from the most, and are really going to respond most to the offer that we have. And that is what you should do as an online teacher as well. Now, I know I speak very fast sometimes. I just need to get through. But if there's any questions, just let us know in the chat box. We'll try and get to them as soon as possible. But at the end as well, we're going to have a little Q&A session. All right. So your niche is important. So I wanted to give you some examples of the most common niches, for example, that everyone can think of. Teaching young learners, teaching children, for example. They have to be very, very, not every teacher is comfortable teaching children. So that is a niche market. It's a pretty broad one, but it is one nonetheless. These are the ones we can all relate to. Teaching business English, for example, is another one of these. Teaching the language of your industry specifically. I always use the example of real estate agents. I live in the south of Spain here, and there's millions of English-speaking expats that are looking to buy property here. So the realtors, the Spanish realtors, really need to be able to speak English, but they don't need to know the cat sat on the mat, I am, you are, he is. They don't need to know those things. They need to know the language and the phrases and the idioms, and that is specific to their industry of selling houses to English expats. All right, so that is a focus that that is a market you can really focus. Spanish-speaking realtors, all right, and you can get more and more precise with laser focusing on these kind of things. And I wanted to, James, I hope you don't mind. I was on your Facebook page today. I kind of borrowed a few examples because the niche that you eventually end up choosing can be anything. It's really hard to predict because there are just so many variations. Some that I found on James's page on his Facebook page were people that were focusing on, for example, intermediate level adults interested in health and wellness. I mean, off the top of your head, would you have ever considered that as a niche market? Somebody else is teaching early medieval history with a focus on Anglo-Saxon England. So you can get really, really specific, and you've got to find that balance and also that market that's really going to respond. And it's always best that you use your experience and your expertise, the knowledge that you already have to focus on these. And somebody else I read on that page, advanced adults working in environmental management. So these are just 6 examples. They are unlimited. I can't even imagine some of them already, and no one can, not even James. All right, he's seen them all, but there's still some that he wouldn't have even seen yet. So there really, really is if you're going to be able to go on your own and you're going to have to get your own students, it's much better if you focus on a smaller group that's going to give you higher results. Okay, so on these freelance platforms, working on these freelance platforms, as in option number 1 there, you bypass the online schools and create profiles on websites that connect you directly with the students. This is one of the ways to work as a freelancer. So these websites will advertise for students, process the payments between you and the student, provide support and their systems, and for this, they will charge a commission. So one of these ways to do it is to do it through these. Okay, so there are some pros and cons to working on these platforms. One of them is competition between teachers. And this is true for any of the platforms. Whether you work for an online school, there's competition between teachers to get jobs with them. There's competition between teachers on freelance platforms, and there's going to be competitions if you go completely independent and work for yourself. They're still going to be on there. But this is where the niche really, really comes into play, is that if you differentiate yourself enough, competition is not such a major factor to you getting students. For example, if you advertise yourself as learn English from home, general English speaking, you're not going to be able to charge more than $10 to $20 an hour, maybe even $5. And there's going to be 1,000 other teachers doing the exact same thing. You really need to stand out and do something that not everybody else is doing. So you need to market yourself effectively. So I put all of these pros and cons together because from previous video calls that I've done and previous webinars, we found that some people may find these as pros and others might find them as cons. So it's completely up to you. So to market yourself effectively, this is the big thing that teachers need to understand when working as a freelancer, that you need to have some sort of marketing skills, or you need to learn the marketing skills that you need, because where you work for an online school, they're going to be advertising for students and doing all the marketing for you, and you need to just show up for your classes. Freelancing is not the case. All right. So you're going to have that. You need to understand that if you're not comfortable with that, you're either going to have to learn it, or perhaps this isn't the route that you need to take. On these platforms, the commissions can be high. Some are as low as 10, 15%. I saw one today that's 15%, and some of them go up to 40%. So your commission that these platforms are going to take for their services, for providing the website, for bringing the students to the website, they've got costs involved. They take that cost from your salary. So they don't charge you to be on the platform. It's only once you start making money that they'll charge you a percentage of what you make. There's a couple of many of these, more than a couple. So everyone has different, different structures and different pay and different fees. So you'll have to look into that on an individual basis. There are many platforms to choose from. At last count, I think there have been 40 or 50 of these platforms that you can work on. You need to create your own materials. Now, this is one of those, for some people, it may be a benefit, and some people may be a disadvantage. So that's up to you, because this depends on your niche. And also, I mean, if your niche is just chatting to people and doing vocabulary and pronunciation, then perhaps you don't need to create any materials at all. You just need to have conversational classes. So that depends on you and your niche. Your earning potential is higher than online schools. This is an issue that's cropping up more and more and more as we go along. The online schools are reducing the hourly rates that they are giving to teachers. The average now between $10 and $20 per hour, regardless of whether or not you have a degree. Whereas late 2018, or all of 2018, basically, the average was higher than that. It was $20 to $30 an hour. So the competition is getting fiercer, the salaries are getting lower, but the amount of students out there is still exactly the same. There are still, according to the British Council, 1 million students that want to learn English. 1 billion with a B. So the market is there. The issue is how to get to this market, how to show them, get your message across, and how to get them to sign up for classes. All right. Earning potential, it varies. It varies a lot. You can charge, if you're doing general English, $10 to $20 an hour. The more specific you can get $80 an hour, over $100 an hour, depending on who you are targeting and how effectively you are targeting that market of students and what you are going to obviously be teaching. That's more in James's purview. We'll speak to him about that at the end. So also, you've got to take into account that this takes time to build up your student base. One of the other aspects you've got to remember, for an online school, for example, as soon as you get a job, you tell them what hours you're available, and the online school will fill it with students, hopefully. But as a freelancer, you have to start building up your students one by one, and it takes a bit longer to get up and running. But like I said, the earning potential here is much, much higher than it is with an online school. But there is time that is required to be put into this. And of course, no degree required. For online schools, almost all of them now require that you have a bachelor's degree. Even if that bachelor's degree is in horticulture, it doesn't matter as long as you have a degree. And there are so many, and I'm sure many of you out there on this listening to this webinar right now that have so much to offer but because you don't have a bachelor's degree, you can't get a job on these with these online schools. So this can really, really help you as well as another option to get out there. This as well for non-natives. I didn't put this on there, but I'm thinking about it now. Non-native English speaking people. Being a freelancer could be a benefit to you because you can, for example, choose a niche market of people from your country. A lot of students like the fact that their teacher has experienced the same issue as them. They could relate to you, but now they can see how far you've come and you may be able to help them get started in their journey of learning English. So yeah, I don't want to get into that too much because like I said, there's just an infinite amount of possibilities here. Okay, on this next slide here, we've got different kind of platforms for these that you can work on. There are many more than this, but these are the most popular ones that I've found at least. Cambly is very popular. Preply or Preply, some people pronounce it. It's very, very different. Schema Talk, at the top one there, LIM is Language in Motion. Amazing Talker is the one that we work with the most. Amazing Talker, I know if you've heard of it before or done some research into this, it's like Marmite or Vegemite if you're an Australian, it's you either love it or you hate it, but they are very good if you know how to work the system. Tutor.me is another very popular one. And on these platforms as well, you don't need to focus primarily on English or only on English. If you have other skills, you can teach them there. You can teach maths, you can teach geography, you can teach whatever you want on these platforms. But what we focus on is specifically English as a second language, both James and eTEFL Online. Okay, so I hope everybody's keeping up with that. On these freelance platforms, there's a couple of things you're going to need because you're going to need to create a profile. So whereas working as a completely independent freelancer, you can target each message and change the language in each message that you use as your promotion to attract the right students. But on these platforms, they are just bringing students to the platform, and it's your profile that needs to stand out and your profile that needs to be targeted at specific students in a specific niche. So it's very, very important that you have a very good profile that stands out. On this profile, well, to create these profiles, you're going to need a teaching certification of some kind, like the TEFL, or if you have a degree in teaching. I know a lot of South Africans, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, I've spoken to a lot of them that went to teaching college or teacher college. Now, back in the day, that was the only way you became a teacher, and it was a 3-year diploma. Now, because it's a diploma, you can't get a job at an online school because you need a degree. So, but you have 20 years of experience or 10 years of experience and this diploma from a teaching college, which will help your profile immensely. You need to upload a CV or a resume if you're North American. Also, that needs to be clear and concise and to the point. 2 pages maximum. We don't want 15-page CVs. No one reads those. A nice clear photo, not one of you on a boat wearing sunglasses. Okay, I'm speaking from experience here. I've seen some incredible photos on CVs. All right, you need to look professional. You need to look the part. All right, you're going to be attracting students who are going to pay you money. Your livelihood depends on this. All right, so a great photo, a professional photo, an introduction video you're going to need as well. This is good for whether or not you have you work the platforms or you are completely independent. This is a video where you introduce yourself to the students. You explain who you are, your background, what you focus on, how you're going to help them achieve their goals, what your qualifications are, etc., etc. And another one is experience. It's a bonus, but if, for example, you're coming from another industry and you want to share your real estate knowledge, from like I used in the previous example, then your experience in that industry is paramount, not specifically in teaching as is. All right. So at eTEFL Online, we have a specific package for this kind of teaching. We found that after, I would say 2018, when China changed the law, which required all their teachers for the online schools that now need to have a degree, there were a lot of non-degree teachers out there who needed something. So we created this package specifically for them. And now working with Karen, we're going to. Oh, sorry, Karen is writing there. Now working with James, we're going to expand that to the freelancing as well. So in this package, you have a 140-hour online TEFL course with a teaching practicum. So this is something we've added that's very new, and it's specifically for online teaching. You'll do a 20-hour practicum course as well, where you will have a practicum coach who will go through online teaching and the methods that are used. You'll watch teachers that have done this as well, teachers teaching online, and make reflections from that and develop your own teaching style and strategy from this practicum. and then do actual 10 classes with real students online, where you can practice these skills and this knowledge that you've learned. And then also with this, you'll have your TEFL course, so there's 120 hours, the international standard, where you'll have a TEFL course tutor who will guide you through the entire process. Our tutor is Dr. Daniel Portman, who has a doctorate in education. He created this course for us and only for us. Practicum coach is Lorne. He's also a degree certified teacher. He's working in Thailand at the moment as a teacher there as well. So he'll help you and teaches online. So he knows exactly what it is. And he'll be that kind of link between your TEFL theory and those first online classes. And then what will also include then, as I mentioned previously, what you're going to need for your profile is a professionally written CV and resume. So we work with Just SL Resumes. They are great. We've worked with them for years. They focus primarily and solely on the ESL industry and creating courses and documentation for this specific industry. So they are great at what they do. You can go to their website later. I'll put a link in there for you and go and read their write-ups and their reviews. Also, what you'll get is an introduction video script. So that the script will be tailored specifically to you and what your niche is going to be. You'll also get a personalized teacher profile. You have the description on these websites where you need to describe who you are and what you're selling. This will also be personalized to you. They'll even do your LinkedIn profile as well. And if you have one, they'll adapt it and optimize it. If you don't have one, they'll create it from scratch. You'll also get resources and support from eTEFL Online and from them. And these resources include our teachers resource website, section on our website, where you can go and download free courses, lesson plans that are already done for you, templates for your CV, all kinds of things. It's a great resource that a lot of our teachers use. And then, of course, support from ourselves, from me at eTEFL Online, from Just SL Resumes as well. So we're not just going to give you the education and send you on your way. There's a system and a structure of support that comes afterwards. All right. So I just wanted to tell you about that. Now, the second option is working completely independently. Now, not using the platforms and creating your own business from scratch. So in this option, you create your own online teaching business. You create your own services. You advertise for students. You provide the support. You process the payments. And you answer to no one except your students. You are truly, truly your own boss in this one. There's no commissions to pay to platforms and things like that. All right. You also have unlimited scope to grow your business, to adapt and evolve, to start creating courses. There's a whole lot more that you can do. And this is where James can really help you. James, I hear you've come online there.
Yep, I'm here,
yep.
Jody.
I'm going to let James take over now. If you have any other questions while James is speaking, I can respond to them at the bottom there. But really try and pay attention to this because James has a Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge, a 21-day challenge that I've been following now for many, many months on his Facebook page and through his emails. And I think it's a great addition and an easy way, an effective way of getting you up and running. James, you want to take it over from here?
Sure. Thanks, Jody. Just go back to this slide again here. Just wanted to elaborate a little bit
Sure.
based on what Jody has said. I think working independently, become a teacher entrepreneur, that's what I call it, is really different from the other options. And as Jody has explained it, as an independent teacher, you have to learn and develop the new skill sets, but that gives you more flexibility and the potential to work online and have a better business per se. So as I said, I just want to set the background here. This is a very different option, not for everyone. I think it's only for teachers who feel like they want this independence, the flexibility to teach and also earn what they're worth at much higher rates. It does take a lot of time to develop, as Jody mentioned, develop your client base and learn all these strategies you can use to get students online. And just for that reason, I have launched this Teacher Entrepreneur Challenge. It started in January. It's been 6 months. We have 6 rounds. We have already graduated over 400 teachers from the challenge. And I want to use this opportunity to really help you to introduce this challenge to you guys and see if this is a good fit for you. And just give it an overview. 21-day challenge. Okay, it covers a lot in 21 days. Basically, every day you're gonna learn something new. It's really a challenge I run in a Facebook group. You're gonna join the group, and I will release one video per day. Every day you're gonna watch one video. In the video, I'll teach you what you need to learn today, and give you the assignment. You have to do the work. Just give an overview here. As you can see, we have 3 rows. Each row represents 1 week. In week 1, it's really about setting up your foundation. That's really the part almost all independent teachers miss when they start their business. They only look at marketing and they never thought about their business foundation. And that's the part we're gonna really work on your niche, help you define your niche, develop your messages, and also structure your program. And that's the program for your niche. So you're gonna transition to program-based teaching. You are not gonna teach sessions. You're gonna have a program pre-designed for your niche. And you can do that as a niche teacher because you know what they are looking for, and you're gonna have a program that solves all the problems they're looking for. And this program gonna help you a lot because it's really gonna save you a lot of time. You don't have to prepare sessions every time. You're gonna have this pre-designed program running for all your clients from this niche. And that's what we do in week 1, 7 days. Rebuild your foundation with a niche message and a program. And then once you have this foundation, we move on to week 2. We spend 7 days really nail down the marketing and sales. So to teach online, right? If you don't do marketing, you're not gonna get any traction, any students. And in week 2, I'm gonna show you the most effective strategies you can use on LinkedIn and Facebook to get students. LinkedIn is the really good platform if you are targeting adults or advanced learners. Facebook is a really good place to target children or beginners or any interest-specific niches. For example, people want to travel, people want to even read a novel in English, right? The things like that. And that's what we do in week 2, developing the marketing and sales skills. That's what we do in week 2. And then moving on to week 3. Week 3 is very valuable in terms of I will help you develop a vision for your 6-figure business. What you're gonna do with your marketing, what you're gonna do with technologies, with your social media presence, and how to analyze the market feedback and make adjustments so you can get more students in a short possible time. And that's what we cover in week 3. It's very intensive, as you can see, guys. Very intensive. 21 days, you learn something every day. But for all the graduates who have completed the challenge, if you ask them, they're gonna tell you that's a very rewarding experience to them, and they've taken the action and re-implement and learn so much. And to summarize, I know I've talked to you a lot, and just to summarize, in 21 days, so you're gonna learn and take action to define your niche, to differentiate yourself from others. This is super important, as Jody explained. It's not gonna work if you don't have a niche, because your marketing gonna be so general. You're just gonna be another ESL teacher, and nobody gonna really see your message or resonate to your message. That's super important to define your niche. In 21 days, you're gonna do that and structure your program to transition to program-based teaching. And there's so many benefits of offering program-based teaching. I already told you some. And with program-based teaching, you can also manage your students, right? Ask them to do homework and take action. Then end of the day, they can get the results they wanted. And also you're gonna develop your messages that actually resonates with your niche. You learn from your niche and you develop messages, have these templates you can use, very well developed. You can just adapt and then put it into action. And you're gonna also learn how to market yourself, right? Gather feedback, adjust to reach your actual alignment, which is the foundation to the foundation of your business, of your niche. More than that, you're gonna also learn how to sell. This is one very overlooked skill, and most teachers don't have. Most teachers don't feel comfortable doing. But to be honest, if you don't know how to sell your program, you can't really become an entrepreneur or having your own business, because you have to sell. You don't expect people to pay you $100 an hour, even more than $50 an hour just by looking at your website. You have to know how to convert students by telling them what you have in your program, why this is the program they need, and that's the skill you need. And we're gonna have that covered in the program, in the challenge as well. But most importantly, I would want to highlight is, all the teachers who have graduated from challenge appreciate this very much. It's not about the skills only. When you are an independent teacher, if you want to succeed, it's also about the mindset. You want to develop the mindset, the muscle to be an entrepreneur, how you think, what you are supposed to do, right? All these things. For example, I know most teachers are perfectionists. They want to perfect everything. But nothing can happen if you just want to pursue the perfectionism, not do that, take action. A lot of mindset shifts I will cover in this challenge too, and help you shift your mindset, realize what you need to do, like how you want to be perform, how you want to think, if you really want to succeed at the end. Yeah, so just really summarize what you're gonna get. I can keep talking about this, keep going, but no, if you have questions, I'll be sticking around for the Q&A. I can answer some questions. If you, we have this website, you can also take a look. Once we finish, we're gonna share that with you guys too. So let me see the next slide. Yep. The next challenge begins in 2 days. We're gonna kick off the next round, the July challenge on July 1st. We've already got 60 teachers, over 60 teachers in the group, ready to go. And if you feel like you are ready, you want to take the leap, you believe you can, you want to have the independence, you want to have your own business up and running, make a lot more money than teaching for companies or on the platform. I think this is for you. It's only $99. It's really cheap, because if you can get one client, that's like 10 times return you can get eventually. So this is the challenge, right? Starting in 2 days. If you're ready, don't wait. Don't wait. And we have this link here. If you want to check and take a look at more information, you can go there and take a look. So I will, as I said, I will be around for the Q&A. If you have questions, I'm here to answer. Not only questions about the challenge, but also becoming a teacher entrepreneur, have your own business, go independent. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about it. All right, so Jody, is that, yeah, I'll go back to you now.
All right, thanks, James. That was great. I mean, I'm even learning a lot from James right now that I didn't know before. Right, yeah. So what's really, really important when you're working as a freelancing is finding, I think the two things that we can take away here is finding that niche, finding that group of students that are really going to connect with your message, that are really going to understand what it is that you're providing, and also having the skills to market and sell. One of the things that I learned early in is you've got to become comfortable with asking people for money. And that is not something that teachers study. You don't learn that, while you're doing your teaching degree or your teaching diploma or your TEFL or whatever. Nothing that you do is going to prepare you for that. You need to have some sort of a special set of skills to be able to market and sell effectively so that you can actually make a living. In the beginning, it may seem a little daunting, but that's why James and I are here. That's why James has that challenge. That's why we have that platform as well to get you up and running. So like he said, I'm just going to, in the text box here, put the link, there you go, to James's Entrepreneur Challenge. You can click on that link, and that page, that'll take you to a page with all the information. Like you said, it's $99. It's incredibly cheap. I've spoken to James about this before. That is such a good deal for 21 days of coaching to start your own business from someone like James with the experience that he has. So we're really, 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 if this is what you want to do, you should really look into this. And then on the other hand, the other option that we had for you was the freelance teacher package that we offer. So if you're not quite ready to take that leap into the full business and starting your own business, and you want somebody else who's going to run the advertising side for a thing for you and process the payments, etc., or perhaps you don't even have a teaching certification yet, then the freelance package is definitely the option to consider, because that will give you the teaching certification you need. It's going to give you the online teaching practice that you require, the actual experience in teaching, and then provide you with all the documentation and the guidance to set up these online platforms, to get set up on these online platforms and to start getting students as soon as possible. The website is there. I'll put it in the text box again to go and find all of these things. We also have, I'm getting some questions here in the text box, in the chat box, about the online teacher practice. We also have a 20-hour online teaching practicum that you can buy yourself. So if you're already completely certified, you don't need any more training, but you feel you need some more experience in actually teaching online and what an actual online class looks like and how to plan for it and how to manage your time in these classes, then the 20-hour online practicum is a great option for you. We also have the 120-hour standard online TEFL course for our teaching certification. That's got a little asterisk there because this month, everyone who enrolls in that course is going to get a free entry into a giveaway. So at the end of the month, somebody who's enrolled is going to get a refund, a complete refund on their enrollment fee, so you can get a free TEFL course. The 140-hour is the 20-hour plus the 120-hour combined into one certification. And you can find that all on our website there. All these courses are also discounted until the end of the month. So for the next 2 days, you can have a think about it. James's challenge starts on the 1st. All our specials and this competition ends on the 31st. So it's all coming to a head now at the end of the month. And there's the website for you guys to go and check it out, for James's website as well. And let's just focus now on some of the questions that we have here. The price, some people are asking for the 20 hours, depends on where you are in the world. We offer US dollars, euros, and South African rands. It's a big market. So it depends on where you are. But all the prices are on the website. As soon as you go to the website, you'll see everything there. Petra, in rand, I think at the moment it's 1,695 rand. It's pretty intensive, and there's a lot of people helping. We work with an online school in Spain that thankfully has allowed us to let our teachers practice with them, and their students know that you guys will be trainee teachers. Everyone's, and the students are not paying for those classes as well, so they're there to help us as well. We're getting great feedback from the students and the teachers. So so you'll teach 10 classes to actual students, Spanish students, and get the support throughout the whole way. You'll have the theoretical part of the training and the practical part of the training as well. Any other questions? Yes, Glynis, the 20-hour practicum does include the extra resources and support, yes. We've got a couple more. James, hopefully there's some questions coming through for you. But if we don't get questions, then we do know that we've done our job well enough and that we've explained everything clearly.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, we're happy to take questions. And look, even if after this this webinar ends, then if you have any questions, of course, you can email me. I'll put my email in here. Any questions that you may have. Well, Adriana says very clearly, thank you. I'm glad we did a whole job. Petra, that is the 20 hours price. Like I said, it's very intensive. There are 4 people working intensely to make sure that you get the qualification and the experience that you need. So it does. I can see if you compare it to the 120-hour course that it is relatively expensive, but it's really worth every penny.
Yeah, there's a question from Sue about the challenge about teaching online. Is age a factor to teaching online? I wouldn't say it is. So if you want to teach online, right, on your own, get your own students, I don't think age is a factor, because I know I'm actually working with clients between 24 years old to 74 years old. And when students looking for teachers, right, when you market yourself, and I don't think they consider age as a factor when they make a decision. What they're looking for is really, your message, whether or not they're resonating with their situation, and if what you do really covers the problem they have, and then you're gonna have a sales session with them, and you're gonna explain what you do, and help them understand why they need to work with you, and eventually to convert. And sometimes it depending on your experience, right? If you've been in this industry for very long, or you have intensive experience with any like, any previous experience, that really can help. And actually, age, so I just thought about this one. I have a client, 27 years old, but she looks really young. It's like 17 years old. And actually that was her disadvantage, because the students, like these potential students they talk to, they don't really take her seriously, and for some reason. So no, it really depends on your niche, like who you're targeting, how they see your profile, which is more important. And when it comes to the sales part, right, the strategy session, the sales part, how you connect with them, how you explain your work, all that plays a bigger role than age. I hope this is clear to you, Sue.
That was a pretty good. Yeah, age, Sue, may be a factor if you're teaching for an online school. A lot of these online schools, they have their main base are children, young learners. So if you've heard about that online, it's normally the online schools that they don't have any official policies, but they want younger, bubbly teachers. Some of the online schools, the other ones that focus on adults may not be. But yeah, I can see how that may be a factor with some employers. But as a freelancer, like James says, it's completely up to you and the student. And I can see age as being for the students as being a benefit.
Yeah.
Tracy, still busy? Yes, of course. Tracy Rue is still busy with her TEFL course. When you finish, you can definitely link up with James's course, no problem. When you finish, like James said, and like I said, every month he starts a new challenge. So if you're ready by the beginning of next month, that you have the link, I'll put it in the emails. I'll keep in touch with everybody on the list over the next couple of weeks anyway. And if you have any questions, I'll give you the links and you can sign up. Let's go down there. Catherine has a question. Do you think about a target country or countries in addition to or in regard to your niche? James, would you like to take this one?
Sure. Catherine, that's a good question. So when you define your niche, as Jody explained at the beginning, there's so many variations and just limits on how many niches we can have. But if I put it into categories, there are industry-specific niches, country-specific niches, even age-specific niches, and really how you look at the niche. If you want to teach a specific, teach people from a specific country. For example, I know a lot of teachers targeting Spanish-speaking professionals. People speak Spanish. They're targeting people from Spain or the South American countries. That could be one angle, like one factor used to define your niche. But it's more than that. I wouldn't say it's a well-defined niche if you just say I help Spanish-speaking professionals, because to me, a niche should be dynamic. We look at the problem you're trying to solve. So there are so many Spanish-speaking professionals, or like Chinese or Japanese. So what are the problems you're trying to solve? It's more of a well-defined niche if you say I help Spanish-speaking professionals who are working, who are looking for improve their English so they can get a job in an English-speaking company, right, or global company or international company. Then it's more well-defined because we are looking at the problem instead of what language they speak, which country they're from. So this country or industry just help us narrow down, but it's not necessarily a well-defined niche. All right. Let me know if this is clear to you, Catherine.
All right. Thanks, James. That was clear to me, at least. A Glenda, age is something that crops up. Yeah, it does crop up with the online schools. Fazlan there has a question for James. I have completed my TEFL course, that one.
Okay, but I have no luck with finding online teaching with the coursework for me, James, without experience teaching online. Yes and no. Okay, so it really depends on how ready you are to get this, get your own business and start your get your own students. So if you feel like your teaching can be improved by taking a TEFL course or getting some experience, then you should do that. But if you feel like, even though I don't have much experience teaching online or teaching at all, but I feel like I should be able to help students and with something I'm comfortable with, then I don't think teaching experience is necessary. So really depending on like how you feel about your teaching. If you feel like even though I don't have any experience, I should be able to deliver, I should be able to help, and then I don't think that's a problem.
All right. Okay. There's another question here from Heather. Jody, it's for me. I think the 120 hour, the 120 hour does not include any teaching practice. No, it's now the 140 hour that includes it. The 120 hour does include a bonus module specifically for teaching English online, but it's all theoretical. There's no actual practical component to it. Sue, you're very welcome. She's 57 going on 37. Excellent. A more adult. Yes, exactly. That's a good niche. James, there's a question for you.
Yeah. So the 21-day challenge does not have a certificate at the end. I think what I don't have a certificate. I might not have one eventually, but so I think the results of 21-day challenge is the skills to develop, the mindset shift you made. I think that's to me that's more than a certificate, because no, when you talk to students, right, when you have your own business, getting students online, charge a higher rate is the best results. Results, and also the end results you look for. You're not looking for a certificate, because the challenge is very very practical. And there are teachers. There have been teachers in the previous challenges. They were able to get students during 21-day challenge. And I'm not talking about students at $20, $30 an hour. I'm talking about students at 60, 70, even $100 an hour. They can get it within 21-day challenge. I think that's the best result to me. Much better result than just giving them a certificate.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, the results in James's program are much more important than a certificate at the end. Catherine, you're welcome, and Jody as well. Vicky has a question. Oh, yeah, I have 18 years of experience in real estate and 12 in ESL teaching. So if I made my niche ESL real estate, where could I find resources to support my lessons?
Yeah, I can answer that. Vicky, I can't tell you how many teachers I've talked to who are interested in coaching real estate professionals. I think that can be a very good niche for you. I know teachers already got students from that niche, and one of the teachers from I think the May challenge, she's got one from Japan at $900 for her 10-hour program. All right, so that's really validates this market and this niche. And for you, combining your real estate experience and teaching experience, that's gonna be the best niche I would say to you to pursue. And to your question, where can you find resources? Let me tell you this. So at beginning, what you need to do to retarget this niche, you need to work on your definition, the niche definition. You need to work on your messages, and you need to develop your program. But I don't expect your program to be like highly customized to this niche, because you probably don't have any resources to start with, because this is a new niche. I don't think you can find any free resources online to help you, but it's totally fine for you to teach. When you teach the first few clients, probably the content is still very general, but while you're teaching them, their feedback, their experience, their feedback should help you customize your lesson. And eventually you should be able to have very customized program for them, like no one else in the world has. And that's really the goal, and you can get it. I know teachers who can have really customized program after 3 clients just by learning from them. So to your question again, so it's okay to be general in your lesson plans. It can still be like a more focused on English, is more general to start with, but you should expect to tailor, customize your lesson, your materials in your program as you move along, teaching more people from that niche. And it's very easy to do.
That calls back to what you said earlier about teachers being perfectionists. You don't have to have a perfect program. Yeah, you don't have to have a perfect program from day one. All right. If the whole point of it is having something that is customized to you and your niche and be different from the rest, and that takes time. That just as it takes time to build up the students, it takes time to build up your resources, and this will come with time. But you can start with general. There's a lot of free resources on our website as well. There's a resource center for our teachers. You can download templates and then just start, adjusting them and editing them as you go along. All right. Isn't race a barrier, Charles? Race I found is a barrier when working for online schools. As a freelancer, I don't see it being a barrier at all, depending on the niche market that you are obviously targeting. James, would you agree with this?
Yes, I completely agree with you, Jody. This question comes up very often. Non-native speakers, English teachers from all different countries, they have this concern. Would they be able to have the same potential as native speakers or people from very specific countries? But my answer is not, because you always can play your nationality, your race to your advantage by targeting people who actually react better to your background. As Julie suggested at the beginning, this really the fact, students actually like working with teachers who can speak their language or have a similar background, because you can become the role model for them. If you share a very similar backgrounds with these students, they see your success as a possibility for them to become, to have eventually. And this really helps a lot, and they appreciate very much. And I think for non-native speakers or teachers from countries where not well treated for companies, you should not get discouraged. Instead, you should really have the motivation to pursue your business, pursue your teaching business, to find students who appreciate your background instead.
Yeah, excellent. There's another one here from Shelly, finding European companies. Yeah, Shelly, this is not really the topic of today's. What I can do is I'll send you an email later. I've got my email address in there. It's jody@etefl online. Please email me and I can give you some links where you can go and investigate for some more of these online companies that are based in Europe. But if you're looking for freelancing, specifically people in Europe, if you're looking for your own students, then LinkedIn is a good resource there. I know for a fact that in Spain, everybody's on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for adult professionals based in Europe, that's where you should start. Heather, you're welcome. Just trying to find some more questions there. Provide examples of niches which are the most popular. Well,
yeah, I can talk about that if you don't mind. Do you have some examples, Jody? If you want to get started,
you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, so I think Jody has some examples at beginning. Children, business professionals, beginners, advanced learners. As I said, there are niches, but not very well-defined niches. Well-defined niches should be dynamic. You look at the problems. To give you some examples, the common niches can be, if we look at the high level, communication niche can be very popular, where you help students with communication skills to be able to speak more clearly, fluently, and then you can't just help people with communication, right? You have to narrow it down. You can do an industry-specific communication niche. For example, I can help IT professionals, right, with their communication skills. I can help real estate professionals, right? Or I can help bankers. I can help consultants or accountants. All different professional industries you can do with a communication niche. And there are other niches like presentation niche, public speaking, accents, interview, all these different kind of niches, but you cannot just do very generally, hey, I help people with their interviews. That's too general. You have to go deeper. One more level, I can help, let's say, Japanese professionals with their interview. That will be better. I can help, any specific industry professionals with their interview, public speaking. I know a lot of teachers targeting business executives with their public speaking skills or presentation skills. These are very common niches. So they are common, but what you need to know is this niche teaching is just started, right? It's very new. So this is the best time to really pick a niche and get started, because I do expect maybe 5, 6 years from now. All right. So this niche teaching gonna be a thing in this industry, and then it's gonna be more competitive. And now is really bad. It's really a better time to get started. By the time more teachers get into this niche teaching, and you will be ahead of them because you're already like several years ahead and you're more established. Like, that's going to give you some advantage.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with you, James, on that. That this is I see that being the future of online English teaching, finding going independent and finding a niche and focusing on it. I would disagree. I would think that it's going to be sooner than 5 years, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. But yeah, it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Yes.
Kath has a question. Is there a market for marine nutrition as an example? Well, the one example I gave, definitely there is. Like James and I have been saying,
Yeah.
the niche you end up choosing, it could literally be anything. If you can find a market that wants to that responds to your messages, then there is a market. Then there is a niche for it. We got Annie there from Nigeria. Hello. It's really difficult to get online companies and jobs with freelancer companies. What can I do differently? Exactly what you can do differently is James's challenge, specifically for someone like you. James, would you like to weigh in on that? I mean,
Yes. Yes. From Annie, right? Annie.
yeah, Annie, there, the last one.
Yeah. So I think at least five teachers in the past 6 months from Nigeria and some other African countries joined the challenge. And yes, unfortunately, a lot of companies or online schools, they don't really accept, or it's very restrictive on accepting African teachers. And I know in some of countries, English is actually the first language, and so that's really not fair to me. But as Judy said, the best option is really going independent, finding students by yourself. And I know one of the teachers from one of the African countries I spoke to, and she's actually targeting students from her own country and the nearby, and with a very specific industry, helping them, and that works very good for her. So again, right, there are policies, and that's really the company's policies. You can't do anything about it. That's the market where the companies don't worry if they don't have enough teachers. And so that's why they can set any requirements they want. But when you go independent, you can really play your disadvantage to them to your advantage. Just right, targeting students who are going to work with you, right? So I think that's the best option. And if you're ready, right, just do it. I don't think no anything better than that to get your business started to make a living by teaching ESL online.
Mm. Well, this is a common theme. Then again, it seems to be coming up a lot. Race, where age is another option. Qualifications, not having a degree, for example. So if you fall into any of these categories, also one of the geographical location. A lot of companies won't hire you if you don't live in a certain area. So if you fall into any one of these categories and you really want to make a living teaching English online, then going freelance, going independent is definitely the route for you. Let's see who else there. Catherine.
Yep. I can answer that. Yeah, Catherine's question about Facebook marketing, LinkedIn. So in the challenge, so I don't just have Facebook as example. So to me, each platform is different from others. The audience is different, the policy is different, how people react, how the marketing is done is different. So I go really deep on LinkedIn and Facebook, not only showing you how to connect with people, but also like updating your profile on LinkedIn, on Facebook, how to connect, how to engage, how to get people to talk to you, how to sell your program, basically. So it's really deep. We have 2 days covered on LinkedIn, 2 days covered on for Facebook. It's more in depth than just having the exact as example. Yeah, there are more platforms than just LinkedIn and Facebook. But if you just want to get started, LinkedIn, Facebook should cover all these possible niches you can actually ever think about for teaching ESL. That's why I have the two platforms: Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. All these other platforms are going to be useful, but you want to focus, get started with one or two platforms at the beginning to get your proof of concept and get established before you move on, because it does take a lot of time to manage all these accounts, and because you're not going to just gonna have a platform, have a profile on Facebook, you have to spend a lot of time posting, engaging, and delivering value on each platform.
Exactly that. Yeah. In some cases, you could be spending 2 hours a day on average on these platforms, answering messages, engaging with your followers, creating the value that James was talking about. So you've got to take that into account as well as an entrepreneur. There's the business side of things to run, and also the actual teaching side of things. And what James is talking about there earlier with developing a program, a structured program that lightens your workload, because a lot of it, is going to be the same, is going to be repetitive for every single student that goes through it. So it's easier to keep track of your students, and then you could be able to devote more time to running your social media presence and responding to your followers. Riet, you're welcome. Catherine, also, if your niche is young learners, is it less lucrative than the adult market? I would not say so, no. The children are not paying. So, I mean, what do their parents do? Their parents are the ones that are paying. And as a parent myself, I can tell you that your children's education is number one on your list. So a lot of parents spare no expense. And even these mega Chinese online schools where you get paid $15 or $10, $15, $20 an hour, that is not what the students are paying. The parents are paying over $100 an hour sometimes for their children to be studying English this way. So the teacher at the end is just not seeing most of it, but the parents are definitely willing to pay. And also depends on who you're targeting. If you're targeting parents that have an income, or so then those are the people that you want. Heather's got another question there. Are there any South African online schools for TEFL? For teaching, Heather, or for studying? We'll move on. Leslie. Oh, hi, Leslie. For teaching. Heather, no, not that I know of. The online schools for South Africans for teaching are generally just agents for the schools abroad, and they will take a cut of your salary as part of it. Yeah, you should definitely look into freelancing. Leslie, it's been a while. How are you? You want a copy of the webinar? Definitely. I have been recording it, so once it's done, I'll do some editing and put it up on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're watching this, by the way, as a recording, all the links and the things that we've been talking about, you can find in the description below the video. It's good to have everybody there. Catherine, welcome. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for participating, everybody, and for all the questions. This has been great. You're welcome, Adriana. Is there anybody who would like to have one last question before I don't want to take up too much of people's time? I know James is a very busy man. He's got a challenge and all these students and all these teachers that he needs to work with. So I don't want to keep him here too long. And that seems to be about it. Anyway, people, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, like I said, you can just contact me at Jody at eTEFL Online, and we can talk about this afterwards. I'll put my email address in there again for you. And any other questions you can send us via email afterwards. James, thank you so much for coming on today and for sharing your time with us. Like I said, I know you're very busy, but
hey, Julie, thanks, thanks very much for having me, and also all the teachers here. Thanks for participating in this webinar. Julie doing a very good job helping you guys. And sometimes I think we can only give you the path, but that's your decision to step up and take action. And I've been working with so many teachers. I know how much better you guys can do. And but you can't get anything if you don't fight for it. I appreciate Jody's help and also having me here in the webinar. I hope I did a good job to help you guys more here. But definitely keep in touch with Jody, with me, if you want to make a change. Step up and do the work. The market gonna reward you, right, by how much you put into your business, your own future.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. It comes down to you in the end. Like James has a great program. We have a great course and a great program, and we can give you all the support that you need. But in the end, that you've got to take all of those tools and all of that knowledge that we've given you and put it into practice and take action and actually do something with it. All right. But like, there is a market out there, and there are students waiting for you right now. All right. So thank you again to James and to everybody that came on. And I hope everybody has a great week. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.